This is a commitment to my future self. In this video, I'm going to discuss my struggle with video game addiction. It's something I've dealt with for a long time, probably since I was a child. And it's taken the form of, I suppose, certain periods of my life where I would kind of binge on a particular game. Usually they were in the strategy genre. I remember in my early 20s I would have these huge periods where I was playing Civilization 4 for many hours. And these periods would be interspersed with periods of time where I would abstain completely. So if I was kind of absorbed in some other part of my life, it wouldn't be a problem, but then there would be some kind of trigger, maybe a stressful event, or when I was studying at uni, of exams had finished and then suddenly I found myself with nothing to do, I would quickly get hooked again. And I found myself doing the same thing recently with another game in a sort of similar genre, Beyond All Reason. It's a real-time strategy game, and it certainly takes my time away from things that are more important in my life. I'm hoping that by making this video, it will incentivize me to abstain, because I suppose I don't want to tell the world that I'm trying to stop playing video games and then go and play video games. And I also hope that it might inspire some other people to do the same thing, to take control of your life and do the things that are more important than staring in front of a screen. Back when I was addicted to Civ 4, almost 20 years ago, there were some things that were easier back then. So I remember to install the game, I would have to put the DVD into the computer and install it, which might take 20 minutes. And I suppose if I didn't have the DVD, I'd have to find a way to download it. And internet was slower back then, so it was quite time consuming. And so one thing I remember doing was giving the DVD to my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and I told her, I'm going to ask you for this at some point, but under no circumstances can you let me have it. And that was quite effective, because it would take so long to download it that by far the quickest way to get hold of the thing was to ask her. And she was kind of the gatekeeper and could remind me of all the reasons why I didn't want to play. So that was very useful. But of course now, that's not possible. I mean, I can download a 5 gigabyte file in a few seconds. And so these kind of environmental frictions are no longer there. So it's much more difficult to manage. I'm not perhaps someone you might expect to have this problem. I would say reasonably successful in terms of how society would judge success. I have 2 kids and a wife and a good job, and I own my home. So I'm not a complete failure, but it's definitely true that at times my struggle with video game addiction has held me back from my full potential. Without a doubt. I can measure the number of hours I've sunk into these things, and it would certainly be in the thousands, over the last 2 decades. And when I think about all the things, all the projects that I have, and I have many, many projects, many things that interest me. When I think of all of those things that I could have been doing with that time, I very much regret the time I sunk into grinding out that next, level in the video game. So that's sad. There's no emotion that I've experienced in a way worse than regret. I I could go on about that. I could make a whole video about regrets, but it's something I want to minimize in the future. Regret minimization is surely one of the best ways to live your life. And so this video is my promise to myself to do that. I recently saw something on YouTube that I hadn't encountered before, and that was this idea of urge surfing, which I believe comes from acceptance and commitment therapy. And the idea is that instead of fighting against your urges and cravings to do the activity that you're addicted to, which is in my case playing video games, you allow yourself to feel the physical sensation of those cravings in as much detail as you can. I mean, I may be getting this wrong because I literally just started reading about it. So feel free to comment below if you can correct anything that I might be saying. But I believe the idea is that instead of resisting the urge, you feel it and you sit with it and you notice it. You know, where in your body does the craving come from? And the theory is that these things come in waves, so it might last 10 or 20 minutes. It might peak after, say, 10 minutes and then slowly come down again. So if you can ride that wave, you're kind of rewiring the loop that you get stuck in. Whereas the alternative is to resist and then ultimately fail at a time of weakness, at a moment of weakness, like maybe after a stressful event, or you have an argument with someone, or maybe you're just run down at work and need to take your mind off something. And at those times you end up caving in and you actually strengthen that craving action loop. So I think the idea is to break that loop. And you do that by kind of leaning into it. So I'm going to try this method and keep you all updated on how it goes. If you struggle with these sort of things as well, then maybe you'd like to try it also, and post some comments on how you're going. This is my commitment to myself and to everyone else. And I think the other thing that is going to help is finding something else that's kind of scratches the same itch, and perhaps making these videos could be a part of that for me. It's certainly a lot more productive than grinding out some more units in my imaginary army. So thanks for watching, and I'll let you know how it goes. Bye for now.